Hey, what's up, Improvement Warrior? Jason Yun back with you again. Welcome back to Improvement Warrior Podcast. First podcast of March 2025. So I did have my birthday on March 2nd. So big treat day. Started off with some sprints in the cold, about 19 degrees in my gym, outdoor gym. And then went to the original pancake house, had some red velvet pancakes, and then my daughter and son ate about half of theirs, so I had some extra pancakes as well. A lot more treats throughout the day, and of course, lots of sun. And that's what this podcast today, episode 71, is all about. It's basically my sun log sun and cold log that I recorded on February 11th. So basically, wanted to see actually how much sun and cold I actually get in the winter. So it's fascinating stuff. But if you are new here to Improvement Warrior Podcast, this podcast is all about alternative health and not just the bullshit alternative health. I'm not trying to sell you supplements or stupid things like that. So all about circadian rhythm, mitochondrial health, hormonal health, cold, what to eat, when is more important, all that stuff. So make sure you are on the newsletter. That's where I send out everything. ImprovementWarriorFitness.com/NL. And things I've been working on. So I did start the next Unknown Death Causers podcast, which will be on orthodontics. And if you're going to talk about orthodontics, obviously you have to talk about the breathing, the mouth, the jaw, the facial structure, and the posture. Starts all the way down to the feet, all the way up to the head. And one of the most important things is our tongue posture and whatnot. So most sleep issues, snoring especially, sleep apnea, all that stuff has to do with the tongue not being in the right place usually. And also learned that a double chin is actually just a weak tongue and a misplaced tongue. Go figure. So one of the most important things in regards to the tongue is keeping the tongue in the tongue spot when you are not talking or you're not singing or laughing or whatever. Tongue spot basically, if you put your tongue on the back of your top front teeth, then slide down, you should feel like a slide for your tongue. So just slightly behind the front teeth. So just keep moving your tongue around. You'll find it. Okay, it's maybe 2 centimeters back. Just keep looking for it. I go into more detail on where it is and whatnot, have pictures and whatnot. But that is where your tongue should be whenever you are not talking or laughing or whatever. So that is where it should be most of the time. And that will help strengthen the tongue. That will help strengthen the facial, the jaw structure and whatnot. Remember, because I covered that in the breath webinar, you can basically change your face, change your facial structure anytime in life, at any age. So it's pretty amazing what the body can do. So stronger tongues is what is needed for better breathing and better facial structure and better posture and all that stuff. So learning all about that, and it'll come out soon. But make sure you are on if you are new, getting started with Improvement Warrior Podcast and me and myself, make sure you are on the Facebook group Improvement Warrior University. That's basically where all my free webinars are. That'll give you just like a beginner intake into what I do. So that's ImprovementWarriorFitness.com/FB. But otherwise, if you do want to support the podcast, always looking for ratings on Spotify and Apple and reviews, and support the sponsors that will be coming up at the end of today's show. And today's show is just about 13 minutes, so a short one. And you can also support me on Patreon, become a patron, ImprovementWarriorFitness.com/Patreon. And that is where I will also put all the full premium webinars up there. So Improvement Warrior University on Facebook does not have all those. Patreon will. And also the Improvement Warrior University Premium will have everything that I do, courses and whatnot. So I just put up, we're about to launch Habit Harmony, and I just put up the better planning or the healthier planning course. So that's up on Improvement Warrior University Premium. So that's improvementwarriorfitness.com/IWU. Patreon is improvementwarriorfitness.com/Patreon, or you can just search for Improvement Warrior. But that's it. Let's get into this podcast. So enjoy it and share it out with anybody, especially indoor zoo animals in the winter. Okay? Share it out with them. Call them indoor zoo animals. But I know you're not an indoor zoo animal because you're listening to this podcast. Get your ass outside, ground, get cold, and get some sunshine. Otherwise, I'll see you on the other end, or on another podcast, or on social media, or somewhere. Have a great day. Stay strong, stay positive. Be the Improvement Warrior.
There is no tomorrow.
Hey, what's up? Improvement Warrior. Jason Yun back with you again. Welcome to Improvement Warrior Podcast, episode number 71. So this episode is basically my sun log in the winter. So I took a stopwatch with me on February 11th, and I recorded all my time that I spent outdoors and all the time I spent in the sun. As I do spend a lot of time behind windows, so all my meals I eat behind windows and whatnot. So I just wanted to see exactly how much sun I get throughout the day. Because if you've been following this podcast, you know that I speak about sun all the time and cold all the time, especially if you follow me on social media as well, which you should be doing. sun.yun.jason, Instagram, Facebook, Yun Training, is Twitter, and yeah, so you'll find me there. But yeah, talk about them all the time. So our number 1 and number 2 Zeitgebers, which are environmental cues for our biology that we are supposed to be exposed to, are light and temperature. Okay, but if you're like the majority of Americans who spend 87.5% of their time indoors, then you've got big trouble coming. You've got diseases coming. You've got just overall problems, because when you're indoors, you're exposed to artificial lighting and you're exposed to non-native EMF. And I'm sure that 87.5% is even higher in the winter, because, I mean, the number of people that I see winter-wise compared to spring-wise, it drops like 90% of the time. I can literally count the same amount of people on like 1.5 hands. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, it's something that we need to fix if you're going to be healthy. So if you do know somebody who is spending all the time indoors, send this podcast out to them. But let's get into my log here. But yeah, so the information about this day, February 11th, 2025. The high and low for this day was 34 and 29 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's right around 0 or 1 Celsius, I believe. Sunrise was at 7:26 a.m. UVA came out about 8:31 a.m. and sunset was 6:03 p.m. Okay, so my outdoor time total was 109 minutes. So 7:28 a.m. I had 13 minutes of pre-sunrise grounding. At 7:40 a.m., and this was sunrise as well, 19-minute taking my daughter to the bus stop and grounding at the bus stop. 8:30 a.m., 21 minutes, 51 seconds, taking my son to the bus stop and grounding. 12:30 p.m., 18 minutes, 45 seconds, picking my son up from the bus stop and grounding again. 2:07 p.m., 9 minutes, 39 seconds, reading and grounding. And then 3:05 p.m., 25 minutes and 51 seconds, picking my daughter up from the bus stop and grounding. And while walking there, I was doing my shirtless UVA walk as well. Okay, so 109 minutes total outside, and then my sun times by an open window. Remember, always open the window. The window destroys the light, and it creates a really bad light environment. Blocks 100% of UVB, 97 to 99% UVA, depending on the window, 40 to 60% of the red light, and it allows 100% of the visible light in, which will be blue, which will include the blue and green, which will destroy your health. So 103 minutes total, 8:05, 16 minutes morning sun in my Kaniki. So this is basically after I took my daughter to the bus stop. 9:05 a.m., 11 minutes eating my breakfast. Shirt was probably off. I didn't put it down, but it was probably off. That's what I usually do. 9:30, 10 minutes, 51 seconds was my morning poop. 9:50 a.m., 27 minutes and 7 seconds. I was doing my morning social post, other stuff on social, and phone stuff. Then 11:26 a.m., 11 minutes, 35 seconds for lunch. Then 3:50 p.m., 13 minutes, 26 minutes planning my day for the next day. And then 5:26, it was sunset, 12 minutes, 52 seconds for dinner. So 212 total minutes of sun, or 3.53 hours of direct sun. And I got 42 minutes and 6 seconds of grounding. Dinner is always cooked with an open window, so about 45 to 55 minutes. The sun is coming in that way. But when the leaves start growing back, then I can't really get too much sun that way. But the whole day, we never have any lights on. Obviously, we just have a big, obviously, but if you're listening, I never have any lights on, and unless it is dark, then we just use those blue light free bulbs. Okay? But my number one health controller is the sun, and any human's number one health controller is the sun. If temperature does play a role, remember your number one and number two Zeitgebers is light and temperature. So if you're indoors with a 70-degree thermostat all day, 70 is going to be associated with a certain amount of UV light, and a very high amount of UV light compared to a February day in Ohio or similar latitude. Okay, artificial lights also are associated. They're associated with a certain color temperature, and that color temperature never changes compared to the sun, changing every nanosecond. Okay, now if you can get incandescence, that is the best light for you because it mimics the sun. There's infrared light in it. There is no UV, but I always say sunlight is the best. Then no lights. So no lights on. Okay, then you're going with candlelight. Then you're going with these circadian bulbs, blue light free bulbs, red bulbs, amber bulbs, all that stuff. Okay, but artificial light, the color never changes, but the sun is changing every basically nanosecond. Okay, the color temperature is associated with a certain UV, with a certain magnetic and electric field, with a certain electromagnetic force, which is the strongest force in the universe. And those forces, those UVs, and those electric fields and magnetic fields, they change throughout the year. So that's why it's super important to always be out and always be connected. So we are making the body work better. We're making the electrons in us, we're programming the electrons, we're electrifying the electrons, magnetizing the electrons so they can do what they need to do, go through electron chain transport so we can breathe properly. Okay? Oxygen, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is the cue that tells you when to breathe. Okay? It is the cue that tells you when to breathe, and we should always be focusing on building our carbon dioxide up. So I covered that in the breath webinar. which was Improvement Warrior Podcast, episode 12. And it's also on my YouTube channel. And it is also it will be in Improvement Warrior University Premium. So improvementwarriorfitness.com/IWU, and you can check that out. But everything is going to be in Improvement Warrior University Premium eventually. All my courses and whatnot. Okay, but not enough sun and indoor living, I think, are the two biggest culprits for all the diseases we have today. And when you are living indoors, that is associated with massive amounts of non-native EMF. Okay, and remember, artificial light is an EMF. Okay, disease reversal doesn't come overnight, just like disease creation. It's all about the habits that we create in ourselves. Okay, now I didn't used to live like this and revolve my days around the sun, but I got sick again in my late 30s. In my mid 20s, it was depression, anxiety, thoughts of suicide. Thought I fixed it following the perfect workout routine, 5 to 6 days a week working out, and the perfect diet scheme. Eventually moving from the bodybuilding diet to the paleo diet to the keto diet to nutritional cleansing, then combining those. Okay, but then I got sick with hormone issues in my late 30s, which is absolutely unacceptable. So, I mean, nobody should feel that way. But it was basically the way I was living was wrong. And nature told me that. Always remember, nature doesn't give two shits about your wants, your desires, your preferences, or your beliefs. Okay? You need to figure out what is actually the truth, because the truth is hidden from us. And our dopamine will lower and lower and lower the more we take nature away and live an indoor life. So that's all for this podcast. I just basically wanted to share my food log, or my sun log, with you to show you what I do. Now, is it optimal for everybody? I don't know. I don't know what your situation is. The sicker you are, the more light you release. So the more UV, extreme low frequency, ELF, UV light you release, and the more infrared light you release. Okay, but that light has to be put back, otherwise it's going to cause cellular chaos in the body. Okay, so the sicker you are, typically the more you need to be connected to nature in order to make things happen. The more you need to ground in order to get your electrons in you, and then that sunlight will electrify the DC current, so you can start repairing your body during the day, and then at night DC electric current goes away because we're trying to restore it when we wake up again, but we have other processes to help fix ourselves when we're sleeping. Apoptosis, autophagy being the number one and number two ones. Okay, but those processes are destroyed if you are living a modern man life not connected to the sun, because the sun makes all the things that we need to do to make us work. And if we're not connected to it, we're going to get fucked. It's that simple. So that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Share this out with anybody that you feel needs to hear it. And of course, if you want to support the podcast, ratings, reviews on Apple and Spotify is the number one way. And also becoming a patron on Patreon, improvementwarriorfitness.com/Patreon. But otherwise, I will see you on the next podcast. Until then, have a great day. Stay strong. Stay positive. Be the improvement warrior. Get outside.
There is no tomorrow.
I've got a fantastic opportunity to enhance your meals and make a positive impact on the world with our new sponsor, Wild Pastures. We all know the importance of quality nutrition and the role it plays in our overall health journey. That's why I'm excited to introduce to you Wild Pastures. They provide 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, heritage pork, and wild-caught seafood, all raised on family-run farms in the United States with the highest ethical standards. We've been using them since December of 2024 and absolutely love it. We chose the pork and beef package. By choosing Wild Pastures, you're not only fueling your body with nutrient-rich, delicious proteins, but you're also supporting sustainable farming practices that benefit the environment and local communities. Imagine enjoying your meals knowing that you're making a difference. And here is the best part. As a listener of Improvement Warrior Podcast, you get an exclusive deal. Visit improvementwarriorfitness.com/wildpastures to receive 20% off for life and an additional $20 off your first order. It's a win-win for your health, taste buds, and the planet. So why wait? Make the switch to ethically raised quality meats today and elevate every single meal. Again, head on over to improvementwarriorfitness.com/wildpastures and take advantage of this amazing offer.
There is no tomorrow.
I will say it again and again. Your phone is one of the biggest detriments to your health due to the non-native EMF and blue light coming from it. However, with One Tap Zap app from solar-powered Rusty, you can take care of blue light, Wi-Fi, flickering effect, all in one simple press of a button. One Tap Zap, you can disable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth completely. Get rid of your connection with the cellular tower, apply a blue light filter, reduce screen flickering, especially over low brightness, achieve sound sleep almost immediately, improve your mitochondrial health significantly, and maintain eye health with no more dry eyes, and numerous health benefits as well. One Tap Zap, you can check it out at improvementwarriorfitness.com/solar-powered. Unfortunately, it does not work for Android, just iPad, iPhone, and Macs at this time. But check it out, improvementwarriorfitness.com/solar-powered.
There is no tomorrow.
I have gotten off so many supplements since finding Dr. Cruz in his work in 2018. It's ridiculous. But one that I still take and recommend is magnesium. The big thing with magnesium is that different types of magnesium are uptaken by different parts of the body and organs. So there is a variant with people's responses depending on what they need magnesium for and how deficient they are to begin with. Magnesium deficiency is just as big, if not bigger, than vitamin D deficiency. And a big reason why is magnesium is needed for the conversion step in vitamin D. So what they did at BioOptimizers and Magnesium Breakthrough is they combined the top 7 forms of magnesium in one capsule. Magnesium is a downregulator for the nervous system to relax and leave us from that flight or fight world of stress that is especially caused by blue light and electro pollution that we are all affected by, no matter how much we biohack. It is also critical for vasodilation, increased blood flow. Any pain or problems in certain tissues, it's because not enough oxygen is getting there. Remember, all disease and ultimately death is a state of hypoxia, or lack of oxygen. The goal of electron chain transport is to move the electrons through cytochromes and reduce to oxygen. It's also super important for sleep and, again, for vitamin D production. Overall, there are over 300 reactions that magnesium is directly and indirectly responsible for. I used to usually just take one form of magnesium for a month and then switch to another form, but taking this is so much better. You can check it out at improvementwarriorfitness.com/magnesium for a 10% discount off your order. There's also a 100% money-back guarantee. If it is not the best magnesium supplement you have ever taken, return it for a full refund. But I know you're going to love it.
There is no tomorrow.
If you would like to support this podcast, then please visit me on Patreon to become a patron of Improvement Warrior Podcast. The podcast may be free for you, but it definitely is not free for me. So even if it's just $1 pledge or $3 or $50, I would greatly appreciate it. Just search on Patreon for Improvement Warrior or go to patreon.com/Improvement Warrior. We are always looking for ratings for the podcast. It helps my podcast be found by others looking to improve their life and health, as well as it helps us get ranked higher. So please help us out so that I may continue bringing this life-changing podcast to you and others around the world. Just go to the leave a review section of your favorite podcast listening app and let us know what you think. 5 stars is preferred, but please be honest. Thank you in advance.